Video games being turned into movies is something that is really terrifying. Very rarely, if ever, do they really work, unless they embrace the genre that they go into. I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat here, that's just cheesy action that works. Sometimes they can be downright awful, like Super Mario Brothers, which kind of has this kitsch charm about it now. But this most akin to maybe Assassin's Creed from last year, starring Alicia Vikander's husband, Michael Fassbender, which wasn't the greatest movie ever and kind of let us down on an adaptation of the video game. The high hopes were there for Tomb Raider. There was a previous movie franchise before, and Alicia Vikander taking a lead role seemed suitably apt at taking over this mantle of Lara Croft. This is a reboot of the series, so we see a young Lara here as her father's abandoning her, leaving her to go on these jaunts around the world but not giving her the full story behind it, and he never comes back from one of these. And she is left kind of desolate, inside emotionally and outside as well financially. She could take over the mantle of her father's business, but that would mean proclaiming him dead, and she doesn't want to do that, so she is trying to survive barely by doing minimal jobs such as couriering around London. She's left this puzzle when she finally has to sign her dad's death warrant, and it leads to a mystery that her father was on, about Himiko, this Japanese queen who seemed to have this curse about her and is possibly on an island somewhere off the coast of Japan that she is going to find and hopefully find what happened to her father, and yeah, blah 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 blah. Plot points. But then we'll just move straight on to what the movie has to offer. I thought Alicia Vikander was pretty good as Lara Croft. She's pretty good at the London accent. She was good action-wise. She put a lot into it, and you could tell it was kind of her on screen most of the time. And that leads me into the action. The action was genuinely pretty fun when it came along, and there is lots of action set pieces throughout the movie. The director, the man who brought us the fantastic The Wave a few years ago, directs this and imbues it with a lot of action. He knows that the plot probably isn't the smartest or the best plot that the movie has, but he keeps it moving by adding lots of action set pieces throughout the movie, punctuating them every 10-15 minutes or so to make sure that we don't have a chance to get too bored before the next action set piece hits. And usually they're pretty fun. They're well shot, you can see what's happening, they're energetic, and they're all varied and different in their own way. We go from like a bike chase in London to a boat crash to a tomb full of various traps and things like that as well. And all in all, the action is terrifically set up. The problems I did have were certain plot points that just didn't matter to me at all. We have the whole father story that just felt uninspired, uninteresting, and something that I could have done without. And when it gets to a reveal later on in the movie, I just didn't care. It wasn't something I was that interested in because I knew the end point of where it was going to end up, and I've seen it done in other movies. I don't need to see it again. Then there is the boat captain that she meets up with, who is taking her to this Japanese island. And again, they seem to have this forced relationship that never quite clicks. And then when they're spread apart, there seems to be this loyalty that you kind of wonder why, when they were on a boat for a day or two, if that. It just seems weird, it seems uninteresting again, and this character keeps popping up, and I just kept asking myself, why? Why is he even here? He's detracting from what we want, Lara Croft raiding tombs. And when it gets to that kind of point later on in the movie, it's fun, it's inventive, and it has that kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark feel, but doesn't quite capture the magic. One of the things I was really interested in was Walt Goggins, because I think he's one of the best actors working today, and he as a bad guy is particularly nasty. He has this almost, I just want to get out of here, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to facilitate that, and if that means just killing these people, then that's what's going to have to happen. It was a great portrayal of a bad guy who just wants to get off of this island that he's trapped on, but can't do it until he gets what he's there to get. I was semi-engaged with Tomb Raider. It'd be interesting to see where it went if there was a sequel to this, because it feels as if that would probably be the better movie, the one that they should have jumped into straight from here, without the dad story, without the characters that we don't really need or want, but keep the action, keep the pacing of the action. And one other thing that really kind of annoyed me just while I'm thinking about it is the end piece. There's a little end twist that made me go, so? I don't really care. Do we need that? Do we not need that? We'll find out in the next movie. If there's going to be one, it's fine. The movie is pretty good for a video game adaptation, but for a general movie, it's okay. It's mediocre. It's average. It's just a little bit above average. It's way better than Assassin's Creed or most of the other video game adaptations, but that doesn't quite save it from being anything other than just average. I did give it 3 out of 5 because I had some enjoyment with it. The score's particularly good, although it did remind me a little bit of Mad Max during points. But yeah, Tomb Raider was about as good as I expected it to be, which was okay. Nothing much more than that. I'd love to know your thoughts on the movie though, so let me know in the comment box below what you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought of it as a video game adaptation. Did it stay true to the 2013 game? Let me know, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.